The legislature also wants to be reassured that this won't happen again, and procedures are in place to make sure that it doesn't happen again. A lot of it is big stuff. The highway superintendent tells us he thinks that's a combination of those strong wind gusts moving in and the soft ground after all of that melting snow. Some of those larger trees just couldn't take it. South Park Avenue is technically a state road, but Lackawanna maintains it. She basically said that everyone would like the state to take over their roads, but it's just not cost effective. It just continues to show this chamber in chaos, and another day where they're supposed to be leading, and another day where nothing got done.
Kristin, how did this happen?
Mary Alice, police say a group of kids were hanging around in the street just about half a block from here when some kind of argument broke out. Not long after that, a shooter emerged from one of the backyards, came into the street, and opened fire. New York State spends $86 million a year on cars and gas. But that doesn't include the salaries of people who are paid to drive. At least 9 top state officials have cars and full or part-time drivers. Housing Commissioner Deborah Van Amerongen is one of them.
He picks you up at your home?
He does. He picks me up at my home, and I'm often on the phone first thing in the morning, and on meetings first thing when I'm in the car doing that sort of work, and it really gives me the opportunity to have additional time in my work day.
I think a lot of people see this and think, somebody's getting a free ride to work and is shuttled around,
Well, first of all, it's not a free ride to work. I pay taxes on both the mileage and on the driver's time for anything that is considered quote-unquote personal. So the transportation to the office, although it is business-related, obviously, is considered personal, and I pay taxes on that.
Van Amerongen was the only commissioner who agreed to an interview, but she defends her driver the same way other agencies do, saying these cars serve as mobile offices, and top jobs require travel across the state. Her driver makes $57,000 a year.
Certainly, I think a lot of state employees have cars, but for a full-time driver, why not drive yourself?
The point really is that I couldn't do work in the car if I was driving.
Still, while in Buffalo, we saw Van Amerongen catching a ride with a staffer to one of her events in his car. At the same time, her driver picked up other employees, helped unload water, and sat politely in the audience while she gave a news conference. Then he drove a handful of other employees back, and the commissioner left separately. She met back up with her driver later in the day at the electric tower. He drove the commissioner and some other employees about 3 blocks to the Buffalo-Niagara partnership. He parked and waited outside patiently while she was part of a roundtable discussion. Around 4 o'clock, it was just the 2 of them that left Buffalo to make the long drive back to New York City. She told us she had a full morning of meetings the next day in Manhattan. Witnesses had trouble describing what happened because of how awful this accident was. A mother crossing the street with her young son. She was hit as the young boy watched. We were told just a few minutes ago that she didn't make it.
He left her in the middle of the street.
Police say a late model pickup was driving north on Main Street when it hit a mother walking her young son across the street, then kept going. Witnesses stopped at the light, ran to help her and the little boy.
He sideswiped the baby, and the baby, turned the baby around in a circle.
I saw her laying there and just a pool of red on the street, and I just wanted to get the little son away from the scene so I didn't see anything, and just wanted to make sure he was okay. He said his arm hurt, but that was pretty much it. He seems okay, but I just didn't want him to see his mom laying there.
The group who saw this whole thing were distraught, unable to grasp how the driver could just take off.
So, there's no way, and it's impossible that he didn't know that he hit them. It's impossible that he didn't know that.
The thing I can say is, I hope they get him.
We're told the boy is going to be okay. He's being treated at the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. As for the driver of that pickup, we just talked with Chief Dennis Richards a few minutes ago. He said this is going to be a fast-moving investigation. He would not say that they had found the pickup truck, but we can tell you that the side view mirror was in the middle of the intersection. Witnesses tell us it came off when the woman was hit. Canadian shoppers are spending big at the Galleria Mall, but it's what they're leaving behind that's the problem.
It's just the garbage. The trash is unbelievable. Just keeping up on the trash alone. They just change here, leave their old stuff here, and put their new stuff on with their boxes and their bags, and it just piles up.
We didn't believe it until we saw it for ourselves. Canadians taking off their old shoes and throwing them in the trash and wearing the new ones right out of the mall. Some shoppers even changed outfits and threw the rest away.
I think when they get to the border, they're trying not to get busted there, so they take everything off, they wear probably old shoes over here, and then change them out, put on their new shoes.
So we approached several groups of Canadians to find out if they're trying to avoid paying duty on the way home. This couple were the only ones who admitted it.
We're going to just bring the shoes across, and I'm going to use the shoes right now.
We've heard that some people are trying to avoid, paying the duty on it. Yeah, so is that what it is?
Yes.
Pretty much,
That's
yeah.
true.
But we found lots of others leaving who wouldn't say why they're leaving old sneakers and shoes in garbage cans. Others tell us they're leaving just the boxes behind.
It's too hard to carry. I do this in Toronto, too. We just dump it wherever we can.
And while these ladies left their boxes in the garbage, some aren't as considerate, leaving a trail of trash behind them, and other Canadians to take the blame.
She gave me huge grief. She stood there and just ranted and raved at me about what pigs we are.
The manager of the cleaning company dealing with all of that trash says they've hired 15 extra people to keep up, with several people manning each floor with the sole job of keeping an eye on the trash cans. Kristin Donnelly, Channel 2 News Tonight.
Let's begin with you tonight, Kristin.
Good evening, Scott. No one here can believe the way this has all gone down. Even veteran senators say this is a new level for Albany. The last thing Republicans wanted to see was the scene that unfolded inside here today as they try and maintain the slim margin of power that they grabbed on Monday. It was the moment they'd been waiting for, the dramatic entrance to the Senate chamber that had been locked for days. But there was a lot more drama than Republicans wanted. Protesters rushed the entrance, making it difficult for senators to get inside, security helping many through the doors. And once everyone got their bearings, another problem. They realized the drawers were locked with the bills they planned to vote on inside.
That being the case, I would ask that you lay the calendar aside for the day.
The bills weren't the only thing missing. 30 Democrats didn't show. The only two who made it, Pedro Espada and Hiram Montserrat, the same two who joined the Republicans on Monday.
I want members from this side to reach out to the other members on this side and find a solution to this problem.
And Montserrat was only present for a few moments before he walked out.
I want to reach out to my Democrat friends and colleagues to join this coalition.
For days, Republicans and the two Democratic defectors have been saying they're talking with more Democrats about switching. None have emerged, and Pedro Espada says he's coming under fire.
Intimidation, perhaps even criminal intimidation, harassment. My home was broken into, burglarized.
And for another day, the coalition, who claimed to rule, couldn't accomplish anything more than a roll call vote.
Senator Stachowski.
Now, people sitting at home, in their living rooms watching this really, are just probably very frustrated by all the antics and childish behavior that they see.
And here's the latest twist. Just moments ago, the Democratic spokesman walked out talking about a big victory for his camp. He's saying that tomorrow a judge will hear arguments in this case to try and decide who's in charge. Republicans still say session's on for 3 o'clock on Monday. At the Capitol, I'm Kristin Donnelly, Channel 2 News.
Continues to be like a soap opera. Kristin, thank you for your excellent reporting tonight. Appreciate it.